Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're going deep into the Dakota Frandsen multiverse.
Ooh, exciting.
Specifically, his latest book, Lover's Cry. Now, some of you might be thinking,
Yeah.
wait, haven't we already covered this world?
Yeah.
And you'd be right. We did explore A Giant's Curse and War of the Universe a while back.
Yeah.
But Lover's Cry, it revisits those same events, but through the eyes of Shandra,
Okay.
Dakota's love interest.
It's a brilliant way to add depth to an already captivating story. We get to see Dakota's journey, but through Chandra's eyes. And we uncover all these hidden layers to his character and motivations, things that we just never saw before.
Right. Plus, Chandra isn't just a passive bystander.
Right.
She has her own secrets, struggles, and experiences that run parallel to Dakota's, offering, really, a whole new dimension to the saga.
Before we get lost in Chandra's world, though, I think a super quick recap for our listeners would be helpful.
Great idea.
A Giant's Curse introduces us to Dakota, a seemingly ordinary teenager who discovers that he has these incredible psychic abilities. And we're not just talking your run-of-the-mill telekinesis here. Think astral projection, spirit communication, and even these alter egos, the light and shadow hunters, representing the different facets of his powers.
And then things escalate quickly in War of the Universe, right? We're suddenly dealing with a multiversal conflict, ancient prophecies, Norse mythology, and a war that's threatening to wipe out not just Earth, but countless other realities.
What's going on?
Dakota's stuck right in the middle, trying to figure out his role in this cosmic mess while protecting those he loves, including Chandra.
Which brings us to the heart of our deep dive today, Lover's Cry. Chandra's story starts long before she even meets Dakota, whose childhood was incredibly rough, abusive stepfather shouldering blame for her father's PTSD, even battling suicidal thoughts. It really sets the stage for who she becomes.
It's heartbreaking. The book describes this really vivid scene where she tries to hang herself as a desperate attempt to escape her pain. And Dakota's intervention, saving her life in that moment, becomes the foundation of their relationship.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think, how does surviving such trauma shape a person's worldview? How does that impact them?
It definitely impacts Chandra's ability to trust and connect with others. Initially, she is withdrawn, she's guarded, but she's also fiercely resilient and she's yearning for a genuine connection. And you see that yearning when she first meets Dakota at school. Even before he reveals his abilities, Chandra senses there's something different, something special about him.
There's this mutual support that blossoms between them,
Right.
almost like they recognize a kindred spirit in each other, each carrying their own burdens, their own sense of being different. And that shared vulnerability creates a safe space for them to open up, to truly see each other.
There's this really powerful scene in Dakota's room where Chandra finally confides in him about the abuse that she endured. And when they hug, it's like this wave of relief washes over Chandra. For the first time, she feels truly safe, seen, and accepted for who she is.
It's a beautiful testament to the healing power of genuine connection and trust. But this is also where things start to get really interesting for Chandra. It's like that moment of vulnerability unlocks something within her, triggering the emergence of her own latent powers.
She starts having these vivid, almost prophetic dreams, sensing spirits, even experiencing astral projection. What's fascinating, though, is that she's initially very skeptical,
Right.
almost resistant to accepting the supernatural, even though she's living it firsthand.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
Like your whole world is turned upside down.
Right.
Everything you thought you knew is challenged. And suddenly you have these abilities that you can't explain.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to process that?
That internal struggle is what makes Lover's Cry so compelling. It's not just about cool powers and all that. It's about Chandra grappling with this newfound reality, questioning everything, and ultimately finding her own path within this really chaotic world.
And that path is definitely not straightforward.
No.
There are moments where she makes mistakes, struggles to control her powers, and faces the consequences of her actions, like that incident with the wolf's angel symbol, right?
Yes, the wolf's angel.
Yeah.
This ancient symbol with a very complicated history, it represents both protection and darker forces. Chandra tries to use it to help her friend, Kristen, who's being tormented by an unseen entity. But things backfire.
Oh, no.
It highlights the ethical complexities of wielding such power. Good intentions don't always equal positive outcomes.
And it forces Chandra and the reader to think about the responsibilities that come with these abilities. If you suddenly discovered you had psychic powers, how would you use them? What boundaries would you set?
It makes you think.
Lover's Cry forces you to confront those tough questions.
Absolutely. It also makes you think about Dakota's role in all of this. He's not just Chandra's romantic interest. He becomes her mentor in this world, sharing his knowledge, guiding her, but also allowing her to make her own choices and learn from her mistakes.
It's a dynamic that shifts their relationship beyond just romance. They become partners in a very real sense, supporting each other's growth, navigating the dangers of this supernatural world together. And just when you think things can't get any wilder, we're introduced to Olivia.
Ah, yes, Olivia, the daughter from the future. This is where Lover's Cry throws a major curveball.
Yeah.
And it takes this whole concept of destiny to a whole other level.
I mean, talk about a mind-blowing twist. Not only does Shandra have to wrap her head around her own emerging powers, but now she's faced with this vision of a future family. A future that includes her, Dakota, and this daughter they haven't even conceived yet.
Right. And it really throws a wrench in the whole free will versus destiny debate, doesn't it?
Okay.
If Olivia is already a part of their future, does that mean their path is predetermined? Are their choices even their own? Lover's Cry forces you to confront those big existential questions.
It's a lot to process, especially when you factor in the looming threat of this multiversal war, those mysterious pings that are causing global unrest, and the increasing sense that something catastrophic is about to happen.
Exactly. Olivia's arrival isn't just a family drama twist. It's a warning, a symbol of the future that they're fighting to protect. And it's in the face of all this chaos that we see Shandra truly begin to evolve.
She's no longer a passive observer clinging to Dakota for protection. She's actively using her powers, making decisions, taking risks, and becoming a force to be reckoned with in her own right.
It's remarkable, it really is, to witness this transformation.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about raw power. It's about her strategic thinking, her intuition, her growing confidence in her abilities.
Right.
Remember that scene in the warehouse when they're rescuing Jessica?
Oh, yeah. Chandra's quick thinking and courage are crucial to their escape.
Yes.
She's not just relying on Dakota to save the day. She's an active participant in the fight. It's a turning point for her. A moment where she realizes she's capable of so much more than she ever imagined. And I think that's what makes Lover's Cry such a powerful story.
It's about finding strength in the most unexpected places.
Yes.
Embracing our vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And fighting for what we believe in, even when the odds are stacked against us. And it's fascinating to see how Chandra's powers kind of evolve alongside her personal growth. You know, she doesn't just suddenly become this master of the supernatural. It's like a gradual unfolding. It's a process of experimentation and discovery. And it really mirrors her own journey of self-acceptance.
Right. It's not like those cheesy superhero origin stories where they get bitten by a radioactive spider and bam, instant superpowers.
Right.
Chandra's journey is much more relatable.
Much more relatable.
Yeah. Remember how initially she's actually skeptical of the whole psychic thing.
Absolutely. She starts by, doubting her own experiences and then cautiously exploring, practicing astral projection, learning about different symbols and rituals. She even starts experimenting with using her abilities to help others, which is kind of where she runs into trouble with that wolf's angle.
Right. The wolf's angle incident really highlights how even with good intentions, wielding power can have unintended consequences.
Yeah.
It's a powerful lesson, not just for Shandra, but for anyone who's ever grappled with the responsibility that comes with influence, right?
It is. It forces her to confront, the ethical complexities of her powers. It's not just about what she can do, but what she should do. And what's interesting is how Dakota, with his own experience navigating these kind of murky waters, becomes kind of like her guide.
Right.
He doesn't just tell her what to do. He acts as a mentor, sharing his knowledge and experience, but also allowing her to make her own choices and learn from her mistakes.
It's a testament to how their relationship deepens beyond just romance. They become true partners, supporting each other's growth, both personally and in terms of their abilities. And then, as if things weren't complicated enough, Olivia enters the picture.
Ah, yes, Olivia, the daughter from the future. This is where Lover's Cry throws a major curveball. Suddenly, Shandra isn't just grappling with her own powers, but with the idea of being a mother to a daughter from the future. Imagine dealing with your own childhood trauma, your own insecurities, and then boom, here's this vision of a future family that you haven't even built yet.
It must be completely overwhelming, right? You've got this beautiful image of a future with Dakota and Olivia, but also this looming sense of dread, knowing that the world might not even survive to see that future.
Exactly. Olivia's presence adds like a whole new layer of complexity to Shandra and Dakota's mission. It's not just about saving the world anymore, it's about protecting their family, even if that family hasn't fully formed yet. Talk about pressure.
It's incredible to see how Chandra rises to the occasion, though. Faced with this impossible situation, she doesn't crumble or fall apart. She finds this incredible inner strength, pushing past her fears and doubts to become a truly formidable force.
She stops being this passive observer and becomes an active player in shaping her own destiny. She's using her powers strategically, making difficult decisions, and taking risks to protect those she loves. It's a remarkable transformation.
Think about that warehouse scene again.
Yes.
Chandra's quick thinking and bravery are crucial to their survival. It's a turning point for her. She realizes she's capable of so much more than she ever thought possible. And I think that's what makes Lovers Cry such a powerful story.
It is. It's about finding strength in unexpected places, embracing our vulnerabilities, and fighting for what we believe in, even when the odds are stacked against us.
Right. It's not just a supernatural thriller. It's a story about resilience, self-discovery, and the transformative power of love. But it also doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of Chandra and Dakota's relationship. There's this tension between Dakota's desire to protect Chandra and her need to be seen as an equal partner in their fight.
It's a realistic portrayal of a relationship under immense pressure. And what's interesting is that this conflict isn't just external. It also kind of reflects Chandra's internal struggle, you know? She's battling her own insecurities, her past trauma, and the fear of being seen as weak or incapable.
It makes her journey even more compelling, right? Because she's not just fighting against supernatural forces, she's fighting against her own demons, her own self-doubt. And ultimately, it's through this struggle that she emerges as a truly empowered character.
And it's beautiful to see how their love for each other acts as an anchor amidst all this chaos. You know, they argue, they disagree, but ultimately their bond helps them face these impossible odds and find strength in each other. And it culminates in the incredibly moving scene where Dakota proposes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Talk about romantic timing, right?
I know.
The world's potentially about to end, and he pops the question. It's a moment filled with so much hope and vulnerability, even as they face an uncertain future. But Lovers Cry leaves us with so many unanswered questions, right?
Absolutely. Will their love be enough to withstand the trials ahead? Will Chandra's powers continue to evolve? Will they even get to have that future family with Olivia? It's a cliffhanger ending that leaves you desperate to know what happens next.
And it makes you wonder, what would you do if you were in their shoes? How would you balance love and duty, hope and despair in a world teetering on the brink of destruction? I think that's what makes Dakota Frandsen's writing so brilliant. He doesn't just tell an entertaining story. He makes you think, he makes you feel, and he leaves you with these profound questions that linger long after you've finished the book.
I completely agree. Lover's Cry isn't just a retelling of events we've already seen in the previous books. It adds this whole new layer of understanding, allowing us to experience the story through Chandra's eyes. Her emotions, her fears, her triumphs, and her incredible growth.
It's like revisiting a familiar landscape, but discovering hidden pathways and breathtaking vistas that you never noticed before. And it makes you appreciate the complexity of Dakota Frandsen's world building, the way he weaves together mythology, history, and these deeply personal journeys to create a truly immersive experience.
What stands out to you most about Chandra's story? What resonates with you on a personal level?
For me, it's her resilience. She's been through so much, yet she never gives up on herself or on love.
Yeah.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that can feel so overwhelming at times.
Right.
Her journey is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we can find the strength to overcome adversity and emerge stronger on the other side.
I think that's what makes Lover's Cry so relatable. It's not just a fantastical adventure. It's a story about the human spirit's ability to persevere, to find hope even in the face of despair.
Exactly. And it leaves us with this sense of wonder, this anticipation for what might be next for Chandra and Dakota. You know, their future is uncertain, the war is looming, but there's also this flicker of hope, this belief that love and courage might just be enough to prevail.
It's a cliffhanger ending that leaves you wanting more, eager to see how their story unfolds in the face of this impending war.
Lover's Cry also subtly hints at potential future storylines, too.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like we've only scratched the surface of Chandra's powers. There are these glimpses of her abilities evolving even further, maybe even tapping into some greater source of energy or unlocking even more incredible abilities.
And then there's a mystery surrounding Olivia. Is she just a visitor from the future, or is she something more? Does she possess her own unique abilities? Could she be the key to stopping this war? It's all speculation for now, but the possibilities are incredibly exciting.
Dakota Frandsen has created this vast and intricate world, and it feels like there are still so many stories left to tell. And it's clear that Shandra will play a central role in whatever comes next. But before we get too carried away speculating about the future, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier: the ethical implications of Chandra's powers.
Yeah, it's that sense of hope that really lingers, isn't it? Even though Lover's Cry ends on a cliffhanger, with the fate of the multiverse hanging in the balance, there's this underlying belief that somehow Chandra and Dakota will find a way through.
I think so too. They've already faced so much, overcome incredible odds, and grown so much, individually and as a couple. You just get this feeling they're not going to back down from this challenge, no matter how daunting it seems.
Right, and it makes you so eager to see what happens next. Like, what new allies will they find along the way? What sacrifices will they have to make? Will their love be strong enough to withstand the trials ahead? So many questions.
Exactly. It's a cliffhanger ending that leaves you craving the next chapter, desperate to see how their story unfolds. But it's important to remember that this deep dive has been all about Chandra's perspective. We've seen how Lover's Cry reveals her strength, her resilience, and her evolution as she confronts her past and embraces her destiny.
Yeah, it's her unique point of view that adds such depth and richness to the whole Dakota Frandsen saga. It's not just a rehash of the first two books, it's a completely fresh perspective that illuminates aspects of the story we never even considered before.
So as you continue to explore this series, I encourage you to keep Chandra's journey in mind. Think about the choices she makes, the challenges she faces, and the impact she has on the unfolding events.
Because her story isn't just a side note to Dakota's, it's an integral part of the tapestry, a vital thread that weaves through the entire narrative.
And it's a powerful reminder that even in a world of multiverses and supernatural powers, it's the human heart, the individual stories, and the bonds of love that truly matter.
Absolutely. That's what makes Dakota Fransen's work so compelling. It's not just about epic battles and fantastical concepts. It's about the personal journeys of these characters that we've come to care about.
It's about the choices they make, the sacrifices they endure, and the love that binds them together, even in the face of unimaginable darkness.
So as you delve deeper into this world, remember to look beyond the surface. Explore the nuances of each character's experience and appreciate the intricate connections that weave them all together.
Because it's in those details, those individual stories, that you'll find the true heart of the Dakota Frandsen saga. It's a journey that will stay with you long after you've turned the final page.
Well said. And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Lover's Cry. It's been a pleasure exploring Chandra's world with you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deeper into the stories that captivate your imagination.